Universal. All right, everybody. Hey, Vaughn here, comic book creator, storyteller, absolute insane person. Just kidding. I'm probably pretty much relatively sane compared to everyone out there these days, especially in the world of art. At least I'd like to think so. I don't know anymore. No, I don't care. I'm a guy who's teaching you about how I create through creating right in front of you. You guys seem to like that BARBAROBOTS uh video I made where I just started developing. As you can see, this is what I developed right here in front of you. How I just developed from the ground up with an open notepad file. No big deal. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. And I'd like to do more. I'd like to pick up where we left off and just keep developing as if I'm just making something right in front of you and having fun with it. And I realize there's more I have to teach you through this process too. So like, why not do another video? Let's see if people like this. So here we go. We're going to develop it more. Now, here's what's interesting. I'm in the very beginning stages of development. There's no visuals yet. It's just ideas, loose ideas, ideas that might get used, might get tossed out. Who knows? Who cares? It's all about having fun and developing. But there's important things going on in this process that you guys must be aware of that you need to do. And that is asking questions and making sure they're the right questions. Let me write down what these questions are as I work. Questions are, let's see, does this, let's take out the underline here. Does this make for strong visuals? Does this make for strong conflict? Does this make for an interesting world? Okay, these are some of the things I'm asking myself as I'm working on all these ideas and notes and tossing notes out, trying to come up with cool things. Does this entertain? These are important things. When I'm working on all this stuff and coming up with these random ideas, I am visualizing. I'm a very visual person. It's what I do. It's the type of storyteller I am. Hyper visual. So where were we last time? We were working on BARBAROBOTS. The idea of these secret, gigantic, armored up, magically geared robots that people can control to totally win at warfare in this medieval world of fantasy. Okay, there's siege weapons made by the gods. The gods are kind of barely around and forgotten and powerless, toothless, not what they used to be. There's barely any left. Maybe they killed each other in a war. Ooh, that could be cool. Let's see. I put different types of BARBAROBOTS here. Let's write some more notes. Let's just go on. Guys, this is barely even a seed of an idea, right? It's barely even there. So we're just beginning development. And so as you go, ask yourself, are these strong visuals? Does this make for an interesting, strong conflict? Does this make for an interesting world? Does it entertain people? Is this how does it all fit together? Because I'm a firm believer, the more I tell stories, it's a puzzle. You're fitting together visuals and images and meaningfulness together to see if it all connects into a brilliantly beautiful puzzle for readers to enjoy and be entertained by, or maybe even be touched by. Maybe be something they can feel something more than just typical crap out there, right? I don't ever want my stuff to just be typical. I want it to have that deeper, more meaningful impact on people. I'm not going to overdo it and be pretentious with it. I don't like that either. I don't like those guys. I want to do something that's still fun as hell, while also you get a little something stronger, more human out of it. So let's go. I've been thinking about this a little bit. The BARBAROBOTS. The bots should run on dragon's blood. Why? Because it's rare, guys. It's rare and potent and potentially it's potent and magical. Sometimes Apple helps a little too much and it doesn't even do the word you want to do. It's crazy. Don't help me so much, AI. I don't need you. All right. Like, The idea of these giant robots and they're fueled by, dragon's blood pumping through their gears. That's kind of cool to me and creepy. I don't know if anyone's already done that before. Maybe. I don't know. But it sounds cool to me. Sounds like it's also really hard to get dragon's blood. So it becomes a finite thing where they have to go get more. And it's very scary to do that because a dragon may eat your face and then barbecue you for breakfast. So I like the idea that they run on dragon's blood. Um, Someone pitched to me some ideas, and I want to give credit to them. I'm not here to steal anyone's ideas. That's a very big taboo. I don't want to be a guy who takes an idea from someone else. But he pitched to me the idea that the robots start off small and then get bigger as they kill each other. And I don't know if I want to do that, but I kind of like the idea that they kind of feed off each other's energy. So you can drain the dragon's blood from another bot and put it in your bot. Or maybe the bots become stronger after they defeat each other. Maybe that could be cool. The idea of having a power source is important in your stories. You want to make sure it's something that's kind of interesting and makes sense and isn't too basic. One of the power sources I see a lot of people do all over the place, like mainstream and indie, is the inventor who invented like the perfect power source that's clean and free and everybody has it and loves it and uses it. I think that's boring. I think that's derivative. I don't know. But if you have the right plot with that, it can be cool. Like I saw a plot for a manga where the aliens came and they gave humans the clean, perfect, never-ending power source. But then one day the aliens decided to take us over. It was all a big sham, and they turned off our power sources because they controlled it. And so therefore they had power over us. See, that's cool. That's a good flipperoo, right? Anyway, we got bots that run on dragon's blood. You can steal dragon's blood from fallen robots. Hard to find, very powerful stuff. The dragons aren't around anymore and sleeping in their caves. Don't wake them up. I have that up here already. You can see there are sleeping dragons as well. Don't wake them up. They're not sleeping. Basically the same thing. Okay, so what else do we have? We have a power source. We have the idea that these things are hidden. Let's make a little space here and start writing ideas that kind of start bringing our sketches and our concepts here into a better focus, guys. Let's see what we can do with this. What can we do? What can we do? A corrupt world with no gods or dragons. The magic all goes into tech, gear tech, for war. Our hero, also corrupt, a thief, a gambler, a liar, a wild one. He invades an old, abandoned, broken down, ancient castle, ravaged by war. He thinks there's hidden loot there. There he discovers a hidden barbarobot. I'd like to think people are chasing him for some reason. I see the visual of, well, as you do this, guys, you want to be thinking about how what you're writing and what you're planning out has those strong visuals, and you're visualizing in your mind as you do this. It's right now, it's fuzzy. It's like you're like an artist sketching in a sketchbook, but the visuals are coming now. They're starting to solidify as I do this. You see what I mean? Yeah, he's being chased. He's chased by locals um out for his bounty because he be a thief. uh and it leads him crashing into a Barbarobot. I'd like to think maybe though he saves people with the bot. And so what happens is his arc becomes what? Like man of no honor to warrior, I would say thief of no honor to warrior of honor. And so you want to keep that in mind as the story goes, guys. Now we're already coming up with what our character will be and then what he will change into. Too many stories these days. You're There's no arc. The characters don't change. I'm like, what's the point of us even watching this shit then? If no one's changing, if there's no change, then you're not even reflecting the way of the real world around us and what we want to see to satisfy us as an audience. So I'm already starting to develop my character because as I'm coming up with the plot at the same time, because now he's going to go from thief, no honor, to a man of honor. I like to think as he fights in the robot and gets into these different story adventures I'll come up with, he learns to be a more honorable person. I think that's cool. See how I like to keep it simple too? Like he goes from this asshole, but then he becomes kind of a good guy. Like that's simple, but it's powerful. It doesn't have to be complex. Screw complexity. That shit's boring anyway. It's not as interesting as it pretends to be. It's not as powerful as it pretends to be. It ends up being pretentious a lot of times. Why does it have to be complex? It doesn't. Arcs should be simple and beautiful. What was Luke Skywalker's arc? Farm boy, wished, no, like nothing life to like guy who saves the galaxy. It's like almost, it's so simple. It's fairy tale like, and people love it. They love it. Maybe I'll do a video on character arcs because they can become very interesting. The arc is going to shape how you tell your story because you're wanting to turn him into a real legit hero over time, right? So you have to have things happen that test him, that make him wonder if he's going to make it. I like to think he gets into the mech and ends up saving his small town and gets his first taste of heroism. Still, because he's in a coveted Barbarobot, he will be on the run. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. He's going to need friends. He's going to need friends. A cool D&D inspired team of people and pilots who also have Barbarobots. So the idea would be instead of just having him enter a castle and discover a Barbarobot, see, that's boring, guys. That's boring. He needs to enter it because he's on the run. Maybe he's actually hiding. Maybe he's getting chased by the king's men. Maybe it's a really bad situation where he tried to rob the king himself. That's kind of fun. Hero tries to rob his local baron or king and is on the run from really bad dudes. Things uh Really bad dudes, powerful baddies. He hides out in the abandoned uh, castle and through crazy fights finds the Barbarobot. He defeats the baddies who bring out their own bot, and the battle ensues. See, I'm trying to think of right here. I'm trying to think for your first episode that hooks people, that shows you the grandeur of these amazing robots and their battles and how powerful they are. I'm trying to think of how we can do that right away. Well, of course, the Bad King has his own Barbarobot, and when he sees one stand up out of the old ruins and make a big mess of things, he's going to send out his Barbarobot, and now we're going to have a fight. And that's like episode 1 type shit, guys. So now what we have is this awesome battle going that shows everyone how cool these bots are, how big the battles are, how monstrous and powerful they are. And we're already putting our hero into the fire. He's never piloted this thing before. The tension of this is amazing. And this is kind of a trope that you'll probably see in anime, right? Where the young kid falls into the robot, doesn't really know what he's doing, but somehow fights and struggles and makes his way through, and he gets better at piloting it over time. I love that. It's classic 1979 Gundam type stuff. If you know it, I love it. Let's just roll with it. It's still different plot wise than Gundam or any classic animes, but it is a trope that we've seen and has been used much to success. I mean, it's a very fun trope. It's in my case, it's a cocky thief who thinks he could do anything, but he's going to find out it's really hard to pilot this thing, and he's got to learn to be a better warrior and man and grow up, better person, more of a hero. And then we're getting our arc going again, right? So these are all the things I'm thinking about. I'm visualizing. I'm thinking about how to make the story as interesting as possible early on. We're not doing a ton of character development. We only need to do the bare minimum and then get us into the action, get us into the awesome robots. That's what this story is, after all. I was watching this old 80s anime about giant robots recently, and it sucked. I was like, why haven't I heard of this one? I found out why. I watched it. There wasn't enough robots. There was a bunch of spaceships fighting. I'm like, that's not why we watch these things. So be conscious of the genre you're working in and why people watch it. Don't overdo your character development. Get us into good visuals and good action where we get to see some robots fight or something cool early on. Make it fun. Make it interesting. Okay. So now where are we? He defeats the baddie. Now the moment. So like he's gonna end up kind of saving a town that he didn't expect to save, a town that he used to thieve from, and people are actually gonna thank him, and he's gonna be like, "Oh my god!" Instead of trying to hunt me down, people thank him for saving the town from a tyrannous king. Hero is not used to that. See how I'm also that little scene there? That could be a nice scene. Like it's a more human scene. Now we're not worried about giant freaking robots beating the shit out of each other. We're getting into he's actually kind of appreciative. He's actually starting to learn that maybe I can do things differently in my life. These are so that's one thing maybe I should add to the list. Like, does this add to the character and their arc? These are important questions, guys, that I want you to be asking yourselves as you work on this stuff. Okay. Don't ask it over and over again. It's more something that like becomes instinctual as you do this, as you just because I don't like sit here and go, well, does this have strong visuals for everything I write? I just know it does. You know what I mean? It becomes this instinctual process of building and knowing in the back of your mind, like it needs to be this, it needs to be that, it needs to meet these criteria and answer these questions in order to be a powerful work of art, to be strong story. All right. Because a lot of people they write their story, but they're like, I don't know, is this strong? Well, there's a way to know if it's strong before you even write the script, guys. You have your visuals, you have your character development, you have your cool, interesting world with its interesting lore. You don't need to overdo the lore. I'm not a big fan of people that world build too much. I think it's boring. I don't really care about your world until I care about the characters in it. You ask yourself, is this entertaining? You know, if I did a big long intro with all these different characters and all this blah blah blah, people would be like, "Where's the giant robot fights?" You know, but with this setup that I've done here right in front of you off the top of my head, we're getting to the giant robot fights quick. It's a satisfying moment. It's fun. And it's what the show's about. We need to see some freaking giant robots fighting. We need some fights. I love fights. Okay. I mean, I don't see the point of avoiding fights. People need to fight in comics. You need to fight in these stories for what they believe in. That's what it's about. So what else have we got? We've got a king is pissed now. An evil king is pissed. So yeah, now remember, nothing that I've wrote is the plot of the story. We're not even on the plot. We're not on the act 1, act 2, act 3 section yet. Okay? We're just coming up with notes. We're just coming up with ideas. Now, this stuff I wrote could be copy pasted into the plot, right? Because it's like it's kind of doing a story beat by beat. This is how I know I'm starting to get closer to writing my act 1, my act 2, act 3, all that good stuff. I'm getting closer to it now. We're getting an opening where a hero wants something and then he's chased and then he ends up discovering a mech and then he has to pilot it. He has to fight this other mech and take it down, and he ends up kind of saving the town from this king that's always hurting people. So we're gonna have to have a scenes of a corrupt king hurting townsfolk, and the hero doesn't care at the start. See, we're giving him an arc. We're building the scenario in which this guy finds a giant, awesome knight-like kind of barbaric mech. It's like robot meets suit of armor, medieval knight. It'll be awesome. It'll be cool. Yeah, that's about a little over 20 minutes of me doing this. I think I'll get back to it again later, and then I bet you money, after coming up with a lot more ideas, maybe a few more characters, I'll be ready to start writing out my step outline, my plot of what happens. This is what actually happens. Okay. And so, yeah, as you can see, this is how I do it, guys. I hope this helps you. I hope this inspires you to work on your thing and get it out. Look at this. It's not that hard. I didn't have to draw a bunch of stuff. I don't have to sit back going, No, I'm just doing it. You just carve it out. That's why they call it craft, because you're always adding and subtracting and carving and shaping a story into the shape that you think best fits all the elements together into this puzzle that entertains the hell out of people and lifts them up and inspires them, makes them feel good. That's what it's all about. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's all my development for today. I like these ideas a lot. I think I'm going to use a lot of this, but it's still, what I love about it is like I said, this is still considered loose sketching. It's all open to be changed, omitted, whatever. Because in my opinion, you shouldn't stress about like what has to be solid too fast. Let it be wet clay in your hands. Let yourself develop it over time and polish it to perfection. Let something, they call it killing your darling. Sometimes you're going to have a really good idea, but it doesn't fit right with the rest of the story, like the puzzle that it is. It's okay to get rid of it. Do what's best for the story. That's my method. And always try to set yourself up for fun. To me, I had fun doing this today. The time flew by. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I will do it more of this if you like this, and I'll start developing it to where we get to act 1, we get to act 2, and then you'll see how I structure out my acts and try to make sure they work, how to make sure they entertain and hook an audience. Because if you don't, I mean, what the hell are you doing? You're not going to have a story that people like. You're not going to have that strength. So, whew, I'm having fun with it. I'm definitely going to come back to this later and be thinking about it for a while. But you guys will see me do that on the next one if you're into this. And if not, I don't know. I'll move on to other stuff. I've got a lot of tutorials to do for you. I really appreciate you tuning in. This has been really fun. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Also, Monster MD, it's on Indiegogo. Let me grab it. Look at this. Okay. Softback edition. Not going to be on my online store. My online store is open for business and it's awesome. You can get all my books, but not these. Look at that. Well over 200 pages of awesomeness. And no, it's not going to be backwards like this. I think I just have my camera reversed, guys. Black and white edition. It's called the Classic Monster Edition and a manga edition. Bam. Put that in your backpack, go to the coffee shop, read that, meet a hot chick. You know what I'm saying? That's how I play that. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Until next time, stay true.
Von's Haunted Castle.